Well, hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of the QI Macros. Let's look at how to create a pivot table. Now, after decades of fiddling with this thing, I've come up with a basic strategy which makes it pretty simple. So you can't have blank columns, and you can't have blank rows, and you must have a heading in each one of the columns, or Excel just won't let you do anything with it. So you can click anywhere inside your data and say Insert Pivot Table. And Excel will say, do you want to create a new worksheet? And we can say OK. And here you can see the pivot table is ready to go. And over here we have the ability to select our pivot table fields. Now, I tend to do this manually. You can click the little button, but sometimes Excel does things you don't want it to do. So if I took by date and drag that down into the rows, it'll give me months, and of course I don't want months, so what I have to do is remove that field. So I just want dates, okay? And then I want to be able to track defects, and I want to know how many of those there were. And so here you can see we have our data about defects by day. Now these are the sort of things that we can then turn into a chart. Now you can use pivot table charts. However, I'd recommend that you use a smarter chart, like a control chart or a run chart. And these are built into the QI macros. Now we could also take count of defect out of there, or we could move date out. And we could say, well, I want to know how many defects there are by line. And so here you can see by line, we have so many defects. And we could turn that into some sort of column or bar chart, but the Pareto chart is probably the best chart to show that. So line 3 has most of the defects. Now we could also drag line out of there, and we could type reuse defects, so I can find out how many defects of each type are in here, all right? And then I could take that and I could turn that into a Pareto chart. It'll ask me if I want to summarize bars. So here's our by type of defect. Now if we were crazy, we could go back in and say, well, I want to put in columns. So I want to have all of my lines and columns together. So I could select that data and create Pareto charts of all of them. All right, so this is how you can start to drag and drop things right into your pivot table and then be able to chart them. All right, so just drag and drop. And again, we could actually filter this by line. You can drop another label in here and say, well, I only want to see it by line 1, right? Or something like that. So it's going to take columns out and put it into a filter. But I might not want that, so I'll just drop that back into columns because that's what I'm actually looking for. All right, so that's the structure of how we do this. Now, one of the things that I do is if you have data that looks like this, or we might have nursing unit defects, or we might have healthcare denied claims, or ICU sedation medication, patient falls, whatever it is. So one of the things you can do in the QI macros is if you have this data, you can select headings, and we actually have a pivot table wizard. And the pivot table wizard will go look at how to organize that data, right? And once it's done that, then you can fiddle with it and move things around, all right? So maybe I don't want to know those kinds of things, but I do want to know by nursing unit how many defects were out there. All right, and maybe I want to take this out, and again, I want to put in patient harm. So once you've created a pivot table, it's pretty easy to manipulate it just by dragging and dropping labels in and out of those buckets. Now, the other thing that we have in the QI macros is you can select up to 2 headings, and we have an improvement project wizard which will pivot that table and turn that into an entire improvement project. All right, so it will go ahead and build that and come up with a whole summary of what's been done, all the improvement projects that are in there. So by nursing unit, here's our run control chart of patient harm by day. Then it's going to drill down into unit by unit. Then it'll drill down into unit 3 and look at patient falls. And then it'll build fishbone diagrams. And it'll build everything the other way, which is looking at it by type of patient harm. And in this case, one unit has most of the patient falls, and build fishbone diagrams. So I hope you get the idea that, all of the stuff that we do is not too complicated once you start learning how to drag and drop things in and out of the pivot table fields, and then you can turn those into charts that tell an interesting improvement story. Hopefully that's covered what you need to know about pivot tables in 5 minutes. Are you still using line, bar, and pie charts from the last century? You might want to consider control charts, Pareto charts, and histograms, smart charts for the 21st century.